I was furious when I learned that I had no connection to my cheating wife's long-awaited pregnancy. I contained my anger and devised a carefully planned revenge scheme. And here's what I came up with. It's a show they'll remember for a lifetime. The ultrasound that shattered everything I used to think about miracles happened to people who never gave up. After 3 years of marriage and 2 heartbreaking miscarriages, I truly believed our moment had finally arrived when my wife, Madison, held the pregnancy test in trembling hands and whispered, "We did it." I felt something inside me unlock, a kind of joy men don't often talk about, the kind that makes you buy baby shoes even before the due date is confirmed. We told our families. Her mom cried. My dad clapped me on the back and called me a real man. Now, Madison basked in the glow of being the center of attention, glowing, laughing louder than usual, posing for bump updates even at 7 weeks. But the doubts started small, little things, a whisper of unease. She suddenly didn't want me at OB appointments, said the waiting rooms gave her anxiety, and asked her sister to go with her instead. The same sister, by the way, who used to jokingly say I wasn't Madison's type. I chalked it up to hormones and stress. I was trying to be patient. I was wrong. The day everything cracked was the day I insisted on going to the 12-week ultrasound. Madison fought me on it. It's not even a big one, she said, just routine. But I put my foot down. I was the father, I deserved to hear the heartbeat too. She went silent, then reluctantly agreed. The doctor was kind, a soft-spoken woman with a calming presence. She dimmed the lights, applied the gel, and moved the wand across Madison's belly. The sound of the heartbeat filled the room like thunder in my chest. I teared up. Madison smiled. But then the doctor frowned slightly, her eyes flicked to the monitor, then back to Madison. Just verifying something, she said. Madison, can you confirm the date of your last cycle? My heart slowed. I think early December, Madison said, but her tone was off, hesitant. The doctor nodded slowly, then said, okay, just so you're aware, the measurements suggest you're about 16 weeks along, not 12. Silence. My math brain kicked in. I'm in finance, I live by timelines and numbers. I looked over at Madison. Her hands were white-knuckling the edge of the table. Maybe I was wrong, she said quickly. I must have gotten the dates confused. But I remembered that December, I was out of town for work for 3 full weeks. I'd saved the boarding passes, the receipts, the time-stamped photos from the business conference. There was no we in December. Just her. And now this, something cold crawled down my spine. I didn't say a word. I smiled politely at the doctor and held Madison's hand as we walked to the car. She was rambling about baby names, painting the nursery, prenatal vitamins, but all I heard was the roar of betrayal. She didn't know I had just scheduled a DNA test. And she definitely didn't know what I was already planning. Because if this was what I suspected, then Madison wasn't just going to lose me, she was going to lose everything. The truth beneath her smile. I didn't confront her that night. I didn't scream. Didn't cry. Didn't even raise my voice. Instead, I kissed Madison on the forehead, made her a cup of peppermint tea, her favorite, and said, "We're going to be amazing parents." She smiled with relief. I could see her shoulders drop slightly, like she thought the storm had passed. But I wasn't done playing dumb. That weekend, I took a solo drive under the pretense of visiting my mom. Instead, I stopped at a private clinic 3 towns over, holding a sealed envelope containing a used toothbrush Madison had left in our guest bathroom. I'd also taken a clean swab from her used coffee mug, and one for myself, the father-to-be. The technician didn't ask questions, just took the samples and told me the results would be discreetly delivered within a week. I couldn't sleep that entire week. Every night, I lay next to her in bed, listening to her steady breathing while staring at the ceiling, imagining a dozen versions of the truth. But nothing prepared me for the letter. Probability of paternity, 0.00%. My fingers tightened around the paper, crumpling it slightly before I flattened it back out and read it again. Not mine. Not a chance. Not even a shadow of a maybe. She had lied, used my grief, my longing for a family as the perfect cover. I wasn't even angry in that moment. I was ice cold. Madison didn't know who she was married to. I've built entire wealth portfolios, designed to destroy hostile takeovers. I planned chess moves 10 steps ahead while the rest of the room is still debating checkers. And this was going to be my life's most personal project. Step 1, surveillance. I wasn't interested in revenge without proof, real, undeniable, in her own words kind of proof. So I hired someone. A friend of mine, Max, works in corporate cybersecurity and moonlights as a PI for high net worth divorces. Within 2 days, he cloned Madison's phone. I could now see her texts, calls, and even location data. What I discovered next made my jaw clench so hard I tasted blood. She wasn't just cheating. She was in love. His name was Dylan, a gym trainer who moonlighted as an entrepreneur and had a tattoo of dice on his forearm. Her messages to him were nauseating. "I can't wait until this baby has your smile. He's too dumb to figure it out. Once the baby's here, I'll make sure he's too invested to walk away." They were already picking out names behind my back, in my house, on my Wi-Fi. And then came the final straw. She had actually told him that I was sterile. Sterile. Me, the man who had taken her to every fertility appointment, the man who cried with her through 2 miscarriages. She painted me as the tragic, pathetic man she had settled for. That was when the plan fully locked into place. I wasn't going to yell. I wasn't going to beg. I was going to dismantle her world, one piece at a time, legally, quietly, and with the precision of a scalpel. The trap was set. 3 weeks after receiving the paternity results, Madison still wore the mask of a glowing, innocent wife. She hummed in the kitchen while brewing coffee, sent out baby shower invites with fake joy, giggled at nursery decor on Pinterest like everything was picture perfect. And I let her. Because I needed her to believe that I was still clueless. That I was still the sweet idiot husband she could manipulate with a few fake tears and belly rubs. But beneath the surface, I was pulling strings like a puppeteer. Phase 1, Legal Armor. First, I contacted my lawyer, Alicia Reyes, a divorce shark who'd made headlines for representing high-stakes clients in asset-shielding battles. I laid everything out for her, the infidelity, the paternity fraud, the manipulated medical records. She leaned back in her chair, reviewing the screenshots, the messages, the DNA report. "You don't just want a divorce," she said finally. "You want scorched earth." I nodded. "I want to walk away clean, no alimony, no child support, and I want to make sure she never tries this on anyone else." Alicia smiled like a wolf. "Then we'll give her the show she deserves." She helped me create a silent prenup amendment, one that would take effect only in the event of proven adultery and paternity fraud. We baited it carefully, hiding it behind estate planning revisions, and had her sign it without a second glance. Madison had gotten lazy in her lies, she didn't even read the fine print. Phase 2, the public setup. The baby shower was the perfect stage. She had planned a lavish affair, catered, Instagrammable, filled with her friends and family. I offered to host it at my property. I even paid for everything: food, champagne, decorations, the photographer. "See," she said to her friend over the phone one day, I heard it via the mirrored calls, "he's such a people pleaser. This is going to be so easy." But Madison didn't know I had invited a few extra guests of my own. One of them, Dylan's fiancé. Yeah, he had one too. They'd broken up a few times, got back together after he claimed Madison was a mistake, but she was still curious, suspicious. And when I showed her the messages and the pregnancy photos he had liked from a burner account, she was all in. Another guest, my private investigator, posing as a distant cousin. And last but not least, my lawyer, sitting quietly at the bar, sipping a drink, watching the stage we'd built for the grand finale. Phase 3, the reveal. Halfway through the baby shower, Madison was glowing, floating around, thanking everyone, touching her belly like she was the Virgin Mary herself. Then I stood up, tapped my glass. "Everyone," I said, smiling calmly, "I just want to thank you all for being here. It's been a journey, but before we cut the cake, I have a little video to share." I turned to the projector and hit play. The screen lit up. It wasn't a slideshow, it was the text thread. Madison to Dylan. "I faked the last miscarriage. I just didn't want to raise a kid with him. But now it's real, and it's yours." The room froze. I gasped. Someone dropped a glass. Then the video cut to the paternity test results, large and bold on the screen, 0.00%. No one spoke. Madison's smile shattered. "What the hell are you doing?" she stammered. "You're ruining everything." I stepped forward. "No, Madison. You ruined everything. I just made sure you'd never lie your way into someone else's life again." And then the final blow, I handed her a thick envelope, in front of everyone. Inside, legal papers, divorce notice, notification of financial forfeiture, evidence packets, and a copy of the signed prenup amendment stating she wouldn't see a single dollar due to paternity fraud. Her face drained of color. She tried to scream, but no sound came out. Dylan's fiancé walked up and slapped her so hard the room gasped. Madison left without a word. Then the guests started murmuring, and just like that, Madison's carefully built illusion collapsed in front of everyone she'd tried so hard to impress. The fallout and the final lock. The silence after the reveal wasn't quiet, it was deafening. People whispered, some avoided eye contact, others gawked like they were watching a high-speed train derail in slow motion. Madison just stood there, stunned, pale, her trembling hands clutching the divorce papers like they were burning her fingers. Then came the storm. The collapse began. It didn't take long. By that evening, photos of the party had hit social media, but not the ones Madison had planned. Someone had snapped a picture of the projector screen mid-reveal. Another recorded her shouting, "It's not what it looks like," while everyone stared dead silent. I didn't post anything. Didn't need to. The truth was already echoing louder than any revenge post ever could. By the next morning, she'd been removed from the group chat her friends used for brunches and yoga invites. Her favorite boutique had unfollowed her on Instagram. Her parents, who always secretly believed I was too soft, sent me a short, awkward message. "We're sorry. We didn't know. You didn't deserve that." That was all, but that was enough. The workplace wreckage. Madison had built a reputation in her medical community as the poised, dependable nurse with a loving husband and a baby on the way. Unfortunately for her, Dylan also worked at a nearby clinic. Once the truth came out about the affair and the pregnancy fraud, the HR departments of both clinics began whispering, discussions of unprofessional behavior, conflict of interest. She wasn't fired outright, but she was put on administrative leave pending an internal review. In her field, that was practically a scarlet letter. No job, no income, and no alimony thanks to the prenup amendment. The desperate calls. It started 2 nights later. Unknown caller, I ignored it. Then came the texts. "Please, I need to talk to you just once. I didn't mean to hurt you. It wasn't supposed to go this far. I'm scared. I have nothing." I didn't reply. I forwarded them to my lawyer. Then came the real bombshell. She showed up at my door. It was pouring rain, the dramatic kind you see in movies, as if the sky itself is crying for someone's downfall. She was drenched, shaking, mascara running down her face. I made a mistake, she whispered. I panicked. Dylan left. Everyone hates me. Please don't leave me like this. We can start over. I looked at her, not with anger, not with love, just clarity. You faked miscarriages, cheated, lied about a baby's father, and threatened my peace. I'm not your husband anymore. I'm the man you underestimated. She reached for my arm. I stepped back. You used to say I was boring, predictable. Well, here's something unexpected. I forgive you, but I will never forget. And you? You'll remember this every day you wake up alone. Then I closed the door, and with it, the last chapter of that nightmare. 6 months later, the sun filters differently through my new apartment. It's warmer, quieter. I've started dating again, nothing serious, just honest, and that feels like a miracle in itself. Madison? She moved cities, apparently changed her number, tried to start fresh. But people talk, and her story always follows, whispered in HR circles, passed between old friends, mentioned in dating app group chats as a warning. Be careful. That's the one from the projector party. Epilogue, the real revenge. Revenge wasn't screaming. It wasn't violence. It wasn't even public humiliation. It was calm. It was patience. It was making sure she saw me rebuild, rise, and glow while her mask slipped and shattered in front of everyone she manipulated. It was silence where she expected begging. It was peace while she drowned in chaos of her own making. And that is a show she'll never forget. If this story hit home, don't scroll just yet. Have you ever given your all to someone only to find out you were just a placeholder in their fantasy? You're not alone. Betrayal cuts deep, but revenge doesn't have to be loud or ugly. Sometimes the most savage revenge is peace, healing, rebuilding, while they're still burning in the fire they lit. If this story moved you, drop a comment below, your voice matters here. Tap like if you believe that real love begins with self-respect. Subscribe to Lauren's story for more emotionally gripping, raw, and real-life inspired pro-revenge tales, the kind that twist your heart open, your eyes, and leave you cheering by the end. And if you've got a story of your own, don't keep it locked inside. Share it, because here, we don't just tell stories, we reclaim.